I got you right over here by me.
Oh, nice. We're besties today.
Exactly. What are you talking about? We were yesterday, I
I know,
thought.
but I didn't get to sit next to you.
I know. Thank you. I appreciate that. All right. Welcome back. We've already gone through our logistics, so let me start with introductions. From the University of South Carolina, we've got student athletes Aaliyah Boston, Destiny Henderson, Zaya Cook, Victoria Saxton, and Bree Beal. When you're ready, let's go ahead and start with questions. We're going to start right down here on our far right with the mic.
One, but Victoria, ladies, if you could each, what does Victoria bring to this team?
V does all the little stuff. I mean, she crashes the boards really hard. She communicates and lets us know where we need to be, and she just hustles every possession.
Chime in on that. I feel like she gets our team extra possessions when it comes to rebounding and being able to find an open player once she's rebounding. So that's why I think of her as well.
Just to add in on that, I think V's a great leader for us. Of course, she does all the little things, but she also keeps us in order, tells us where we need to go, and is that great teammate.
I mean, yeah, I think they pretty much said it all. Just watching her throw herself everywhere to get us that second chance, you know, at an offensive rebound, you know, defensive rebound. It's really cool to see her do that.
We're going to take our next question from the third row right here in the middle.
Pete Yakabelli, Associated Press. Zaya, can you guys get caught up in, you know, what people on the outside are going to think is a David and Goliath type matchup? And what do you know about Creighton so far?
Well, I don't think we can really get caught up in anything but what we have within our team. I know Creighton, they have great shooters. They're super aggressive. So we're preparing ourselves for that. They have some great offensive sets that we're trying to prepare for. We just know defense is what's going to win the game for us.
I'm going to go right over here next, second row, far right.
Corey Diaz with the USA Today Network. For Aaliyah, Destiny, and Bree, was there a democratic process in having Lily be the lady at the end of the player introduction line, and you guys get to formulate some sort of personal handshake with her during those introductions? And kind of take us through that a little bit. How did you guys arrive at her doing that for you guys, and what does it do for you guys, just from a spark or an energy standpoint?
We're going to start with Bree.
I think with her, she's like our main energy point. So she really gets us going. And when it comes to handshakes, she's probably the only one that's going to remember them. So, yeah, but she's the one that really gets us going, motivated for the game.
Destiny?
I feel the same way. I feel like she brings a lot of energy to the team when it comes to that. I feel like it just fits for her, and she does it well. So.
I agree. She always has energy no matter what, and it's good to have all that energy before we start a game.
We're going to go over here to our left on the aisle, third row.
Gaby, her stats. This one's for Zaya. Coach said yesterday that she was happy to see you get some buckets because it's been a hard year and you've worked so hard to have that big game in the tournament. I was just wondering how it felt for you, and then for anyone else up there, could you guys say what Zaya has done all year with her work ethic, and then to have that moment yesterday, what it meant to you guys?
I mean, it's March Madness, so for anything that I do out there, I try to give my all because it could be our last at any moment. It felt good to get those shots in, my teammates finding me. And once I felt like I had the hot hand, I try to keep myself in a good space, just keep my shots the same, and just do what I can do for the team.
We're going to move over here to our left-hand side, third row.
Myra Salters, SGTV. So knowing that every team doesn't look the same every year, and it's hard to ignore y'all chemistry off the court. So how do y'all think that sets y'all apart as a team? What the best thing about that? What best thing about that sets y'all apart as a team to where y'all can have fun, trust each other, and get the job done at the same time?
We're going to start with Aaliyah and go right down the row.
I think it just starts with us off the court, just building all that chemistry, which allows us to be able to play and flow better. Over time, we get a sense of what everyone does and where they're going to be on the court, and that allows us to be able to execute what we need to.
I feel like a part of it is also our depth. I feel like we have a lot of people that come in off the bench that get pretty good minutes, especially when you have a strong starting five. You know, sometimes we need rest, so I feel like that's important.
For me, I think just knowing your role, knowing where you stand on the team, not getting outside of your role, just doing what you do best, I think that's what sets us apart from a lot of other teams.
I feel like just us wanting everyone to do good and being happy for each other.
I think the same on what they kind of all said, just being able to believe and trust in, that teammate to hit that extra shot or that teammate to make that extra pass. It's just, I think that's the biggest thing for us, just trusting one another, which sets us apart.
We're going to go all the way in the back on the left.
Grace Rayner with The Athletic, really for anyone who wants it. What is the most impressive thing you have seen Aaliyah do on a basketball court?
Bria, we're going to start with you and come all the way down to Destiny.
I think just seeing her do a full court layup, just nobody stopping her, is just kind of crazy to me. Like, you don't really see that a lot, so yeah.
For me, I just think just watching her dominate every possession.
I agree. I have to say, watching Aaliyah dominate each and every time we touch the floor is amazing to see. And I think last night's game, I was just looking at her like, wow, like she's really a GOAT. You had 20 and 20, like that's crazy. So I think she surprises us each and every day, and she continues to make history.
I'll just say her ability to be a three-level scorer, to shoot outside the paint, inside the paint, layups, the whole 9 yards. So she's just dominant.
Going to jump back over here to our right in the fourth row.
Matt Dowell with Watch Fox out of Columbia. This is for Destiny and Victoria. When you guys see a 10 seed that's beaten the 2 and the 3 seed in the region, does your focus almost go up even more when you say, okay, this is a team that's on fire and clearly they are playing really well?
Go ahead, Destiny.
I just feel like our main focus is to just play the game like it's our last game. No matter what the rankings is or what we think or what we hear, I feel like it's just important for us to come out and play our game and just stick to what we know and what we've been preparing for.
I agree. I feel like just knowing that rankings don't matter, everybody's coming to playing like it's their last, and that's what we got to do.
We're going to stick over here on this right-hand side, fourth row on the aisle.
I'm Mike Huber, Gamecock Central. Guys, throughout the course of the season, we've heard you guys say it, we've heard Dawn say it, keep the main thing the main thing. For as individuals, though, whether it be last season's disappointing loss against Stanford or the SEC championship game, is there anything as individuals that motivates you guys, especially getting to this point and knowing that you still have some more work to do?
We're going to start with Aaliyah, and we're going to make our way down.
It's just like we all have goals, and our goals is to win a national championship, and so that's been our main focus the entire season. And last year's game, or even the SC championship, those are just bumps in the road to where we're going.
I agree. I feel like it's crunch time at this point. I just feel like we just have to be more tighter as a team and really just do the little things and just work on things that we've been preparing up until this moment, and it's getting closer and closer. So each team is trying to come in and play their best game, especially against us, and we can't take any team lightly, and we just got to finish out strong all 4 quarters.
I agree. I think the motivation part for me is just to know that we've been there before, so we know what it's like to get there. The plan is just to get there and execute it all the way. So for me, it's super motivating for me to know that we have been there before and we have the ability to do it again.
I agree with Aaliyah that everybody on the team's main goal is to win a national championship. And majority of our team have made it to the Final Four, so we know what it's like to get there, like Zaya said. And I just feel like it just takes everybody else just pushing and helping each other.
Yeah, I agree. I think we have a real, like they give up, they sacrifice, things in order to, like they said, we have a main goal, so they give up whatever social, life they have outside of us. So I feel like our team is real, they're hammering down on what our goal is.
We're going to go right down here in the very front middle.
Rick Henry, WIS-TV, Columbia. This is for Zaya and Bree. When you look at what Aaliyah did last night, especially with all the attention she gets from opposing teams, what's the most impressive thing to you about her stat line last night, the 28 points or the 22 rebounds?
Go ahead, Zaya.
For me, it's just she didn't even notice it. So the fact that she's just going out there, not even realizing that she's putting up crazy numbers, it shows how humble she is, but also it shows that she's just worried about winning. I don't think stats is something that she cares about too much. She just wants to win at the end of the day.
Yeah, I really agree with that. I don't feel like at any point she turns to look up and see, oh, do I have a double-double yet? It's really just she goes out there, she gives her all, no matter how much she ends up with. That's just her doing her.
We're going to go in the second row, partway in the middle.
Hey ladies, Alexis Cuba from the State newspaper. Kind of a two-part question. You mentioned Lily obviously being the energy, but I guess how would you each describe your kind of role in the team, your personality that you kind of contribute to the overall, I guess, fiber culture of the team, and then how do you feel like everybody's personality kind of meshes together to obviously have a really good product?
Aaliyah, let's start with you.
Your role?
Yeah. I just think that my role is just to be a good leader and a good communicator. I try to bring energy and make sure that everybody kind of stays level-headed. What was the second part of your question? I think everybody just knows their role. Like everybody understands what they need to do, and that just allows us to blend together.
My role, I feel like I am the one. I'm like a QB, so I feel like I have to get everybody in position either to score or to make the best pass and just make the best decision on the floor, and just to recognize what's happening on the floor as well when it comes to momentum and when things aren't going our way, just to settle the team down and, just motivate each and every player. I feel like as a unit, I feel like everybody does know their role, and you have to buy into that role in order for everything to work out how it's supposed to. And when it comes to just personality, I feel like everybody just meshes well together, because at the end of the day, everybody has a different personality, and that specific personality goes with what is going on the court. So I feel like everybody is just connected, and that's what keeps us on track.
For me, I think my role is to be a leader for the young ones, and just go out there, score if I need to, space the floor if I need to, get easy buckets, and also being a great defender, and just giving my all for my teammates. And I think they pretty much said it all. I think everybody knows what their role is. They play their role, and I think that's what gets us to the top.
For me, my role is to just go out there and do all the intangible things, go get the extra possessions, and rebound the ball. And for our team, I feel like just everybody plays their role, and that's just what keeps us together.
And I think for me as well, it's more of an intangible game. Really just diving for loose balls, 50-50 balls, getting on the glass, putbacks, and then definitely emphasizing, my defensive game, whoever I'm guarding, make sure I know them personnel-wise. But yeah, like they pretty much said, we all kind of buy into our roles and make sure we're best at that, especially at this time.
Right next to the camera stage on our left.
Lindsay Gibbs with Power Plays. Aaliyah, first of all, how was the popcorn last night? It looked like you were really enjoying it. And also just, as you were sitting in the crowd watching, what were your thoughts about Creighton and about the game that you were seeing last night?
Yeah, the popcorn was really good. Highly recommend if you guys haven't tried it. But watching the game, Creighton just has a lot of energy. They try to space you out. So just making sure that we're locked in, knowing personnel and what everybody likes to do, and just know that it's going to be a physical game and just be ready for it.
We're going to go next, I believe, in the fourth row in the middle. That's all right. We can go down here to the second row.
Hey, Cam Gaskins with ABC Columbia. This is for Zaya and Bree. This program had only made the Elite Eight once before Coach Staley got here, and now it's become somewhat of a normalcy in the past couple of seasons. What's the hardest part about maintaining that level of consistency, especially in the month of March, where we see top seeds can get upset all the time, and there's no guarantee that you guys can make it this far every year?
I think you just got to keep your foot on the gas. But honestly, everything is a motivational thing for me. I keep saying that, but it really is, because it shows that we've been there. So it's not too much of a pressure thing. It's just being able to maintain it and know that what we're capable of as a team. But like you said, it could be upset at any moment. So that's why I think it's important for us to just go out there and play our hardest and fight like it's our last and don't take any team for granted.
Yeah, I think definitely now, well, every game we play, we know like we're going to get their best, no matter, ranking, no matter, the record for the season, we know we're going to get their best. So it's just really, like she said, maintaining and keeping focus on the main goal and make sure we play our game, not theirs, and play at our pace, not theirs. So really, that's what we do.
That is our 15 minutes. Thank you all for being here, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome back. Okay. I am pleased to welcome to the dais the University of South Carolina head coach, Dawn Staley. Coach, when you're ready, let's take an opening statement.
Popcorn's good.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
I mean, we're super excited to be back in the Elite Eight. Obviously, we're excited about playing Creighton. I think they're doing a tremendous job at beating people the way they play, and they force you to play a style of play that most aren't used to playing. I don't know if there's anybody that we played on our schedule, maybe similar, but not as, efficient and potent and really dedicated to getting threes up and making you pay, and patient enough to making you play. So we got a challenge in front of us, and we look forward to playing in it.
We're going to take questions. Please make sure you give us your name and affiliation. We're going to start on the left-hand side, far left aisle.
Andrea Adelson, ESPN.com. Dawn, as a follow-up to that, how challenging is it to prepare for what they do on such short time span?
I mean, it's tough. Our great team did a great job today. I mean, I don't know if it was right, but it seemed organized. It seemed like, the movements that they make. But quite honestly, if it's not their sets and if it's their motion, they're just reading off how defenders play. And, I think for us, we have to be sticklers in ball pressure. We can't allow them to look us over and see all the options that are out there on the floor. So ball pressure is going to be a key for us.
Take our next question right here in the middle, third row.
Pete Iacobelli, the AP. Dawn, is there any worries about your players getting caught up in a we know we're going to beat them because we're number one and they're the 10th seed, and or are they kind of so locked in on it all year that you don't even have to worry about that?
I mean, all year long. I mean, this team has stayed in the moment. I mean, the moment, whatever game it is, they're with it. There's no trap game. There's no, there's no, pumping us on the chest. There's none of that because we see where we have some deficiencies. Unless we're, putting 100 points on the scoreboard and shooting 55% from the field and defending the way we're defending, that gives us great pleasure if that was the case, but that's not the case. And it's March Madness. Anybody can win on any given day. I think, we have to impose our will on them, and I'm sure they're going to do the same to us.
Next question over here, fourth row on our right.
Mike Yuba, Gamecock Central. Dawn, we've talked about this before from just the perception on the outside, whether it be the fan base, whether it be just people that watch you guys. It just seems how easy you guys make it year after year to get to this point, but of course that's not the case. What is different about this year's team to be able to get back here, and what were some of the challenges you guys had to overcome to get here?
I think the biggest difference is we never look ahead. Although this is where we wanted to be, we've never looked ahead. And this team is an in-the-moment team. And I mean, of course, every team, every team that's still playing and probably every team that's not playing has been through something. For us, I mean, we've been through some COVID cases. Am I not supposed to say that? It's a HIPAA thing.
Didn't mention any names.
No names,
Didn't
right?
mention names.
Yeah, so we've been through it, but I think what we've been able to do is just pivot. Next woman up mentality, and I mean, we've been through, an injury, like, one of our freshmen played one game. And she was a big part of how we saw her impacting our team. But it's the next woman up. And that's been the mentality. I think I don't think we planned it out to have 16 players, but I think this team has been committed to each other. And, if anybody thought about transferring last year, I think the pull of being a part of something special and being a part of what culture they created within the sisterhood that they have, and they're playing it out, whether they agree or like their roles, they're playing it out, and that's pretty special in itself.
Right here, front row.
David Cloninger, Post and Courier. Dawn, Victoria was all over the court last night, just kind of doing what she does. I know you've mentioned it before, but just what does she bring to this team? What kind of impact does she bring every night?
I mean, we're not. I know there's a lot of talk about Aaliyah, and Aaliyah's having a National Player of the Year season. We don't get here without Victoria. We don't. Like, she's Teflon. She takes falls. She gives up, weight and girth probably quickness every game. There's something that there's a disadvantage for her, and she's just sheer will. She does what she does best. She stays engaged. She knows what our opponents are going to do. Like, she studies them. She knows their plays. She knows their tendencies. So that's why she's able to, she's able to get timely blocks. She's also is able to cover up when we have mistakes that are out there on the floor. Experience. There's no substitute for the experience that she has and the impact that she has for our team.
Next row, right here, second row.
Corey Diaz with USA Today Network. Dawn, I'm curious, what's your thoughts on just the player introduction handshakes that each of the starters have with Lily? And is there something to just kind of setting a little spark and a little bit of energy juice throughout the team there just right before tip?
I mean, that's them. I give them that space. That's, they get themselves hyped for the game. I'm a little envious because I would not be able to remember 5 different, V, I could do V. V is very simple. That's it. I know that one. The other ones, I can't jump as high as Henny. Aaliyah can shake now. I mean, Aaliyah can dance a little bit now. So I think it's pretty cool that they do that, because I think a lot of times when you're a starter, you get the most attention. But the people that are coming off the bench and the people that are on the bench, is their way of just feeling the game. This is their, if they don't play a minute, they feel a part of it during the introductions.
We're going to go back to Pete right here in the middle, 3 rows back.
Dawn, this time of year, we always seem to talk about the makeup of who coaches women's teams. This year, I think it's 43% of women's teams are coached by women. Should that be a higher number? I know there are men's coaches that you respect and think do a really terrific job. What's your opinion about who should be coaching women's teams?
I think there should be a majority that's coaching women's teams. I think there's a men's game, but again, you mentioned it. For the men who have been a part of our game for a long time, who love our game, who have elevated our game. I mean, there's always going to be a place for them. It is the people that come out of nowhere that, hey, let me try my luck coaching a Division I or II or III women's game, and they're given the opportunity, with no experience. I mean, it doesn't say a whole lot for all the assistant coaches who don't get the opportunity to move up or to move over 12 inches. So that's just strictly my opinion. You can agree or disagree, but we should be well over 50% in women coaching women.
Right down here in the very front.
Rick Henry, WSTV Columbia. Don, Creighton's coach was talking about the size advantage that you're going to have over his team and the importance for them to get 5 people on the glass and basically build a fence around Aaliyah, trying to neutralize her, keep her off the offensive boards. What kind of challenges and also opportunities does that present for your perimeter players?
I mean, I would do the same. I mean, I don't know how Aaliyah continues to get as many rebounds as she does. I mean, it's sheer effort, and focus. But she's not the only one that gets rebounds. So if you're going to concentrate a lot on Aaliyah, V, Bree, I think Aaliyah steals some of Bree's rebounds. I mean, it's important for our guards to get involved in it. I think they'll pack it in and they'll force us to take some shots from the outside, and we still will have to utilize our advantage. We have to play up here. I don't think we could play, well below the rim because it favors them. We got to hit some shots. If we're hitting shots, there aren't going to be as many rebounds. So hopefully we'll do that. But then again, defensively it's going to be super important that we give them one attempt at the basket. If they're able to, tip the ball out, and we got to reset our defense, over a 40-minute period, having to run around in their system and guarding them, it'll be a really long night for us.
We go in the second row right here, 3 in.
Hey, Dawn, Alexis Cuba from the State newspaper. You've obviously coached a lot of players, a lot of different personalities, but for this team, I guess, how would you just describe kind of some of the women and their personalities and how they kind of just mesh together for this team?
I think part of it is the core group of them have been together, and then you got some youngsters that have come in, and there's instant class friendships, and then you have to bring in the professionals to make sure it all continues to work. Like we bring in a couple. We actually brought them in Thursday before we started our first round, and they had a session. And sometimes you gotta, as a coach, you gotta let somebody else, especially the experts in life skills, let somebody else just kind of talk them through, what their goals are and get them to talk without having coaches in the room. Sometimes players they shy away from giving their all-out thoughts on teammates and situations and because of whatever. This couple, Felicia and Johnny Allen, they do a great job at getting our players to just be vulnerable in a 2.5-hour session. And then they call me and just kind of give me a recap of what happens, and each and every time. I think they've spoken with our team 4 times over the last 2 years. And every time they've called me, they're like, you got a great team. And as coaches, you're thinking, oh, this one might not like her role, or this one probably wants to play more, or this one. You start thinking about how you think they're feeling. And then she was like, yeah, they may feel that way, but they're all for the team. They want to win. They want to make this year special. And they really love each other. And then she said they really feed off of what I say. She said a lot of what they said was the same things that we hear you say. And you don't really think you're impacting them in that way because it's, that's the same old stuff all the time from their coach, and you don't think they're locked into it. But that was, encouraging to hear, and it's helped us be successful. The fact that they can be vulnerable with each other and just kind of sacrifice, some of their wants and needs for the betterment of our team.
We're going to go in the back section of the room, left-hand side aisle.
Grace Rayner with The Athletic. Dawn, what do you remember about Aaliyah's recruitment and what it meant when y'all landed her?
What I remember about recruiting Aaliyah, and you just can't recruit Aaliyah, you got to recruit the family. The family is the key. Aaliyah was just, talking to her was like talking to an adult. The questions that she asked, it wasn't like, she wasn't like a normal 16-year-old, because I think that's when we started, maybe 15, because she's got a late birthday. She was just always jolly. Her mother, when talking to her mother's, God-fearing mother. So she's just talked about, how blessed they were, what they wanted for her. I really didn't think we were going to get her. Honestly, you just recruit and you're tagging along and you just, okay, we got to do it. We're in too deep now, so we got to continue. And then she called us right before a Thanksgiving. She called me right before a Thanksgiving tournament. And she said she's actually crying, like, she has something to tell me. And usually when they're crying, it's just like, okay, just get it out, just say it, and let me cry on the inside. And she was just like, I just want to tell you that, I picked the school and I chose the University of South. She says the whole name, the University of South Carolina. I'm like, what? Like, seriously. And she was crying that her mother actually had to take over. And then, some things were said, some things were said to her. And I'm not even gonna say them because we're gonna keep the main thing. But her mother was very happy about her coming to South Carolina and playing for me as a black woman, as someone that she thought her daughter can grow under, both on the court and off the court. And they made it, very clear what Aaliyah wanted from her college career. And I felt like we could do it. Like, if I didn't feel like we could check off those boxes with her, I would have said go somewhere else, because we won't be able to do it. I like for our recruiting process to be very similar. Like, I'm very similar to who I am like now. Like, it won't be a big change from how I recruited you into how I coached you. And because I just feel like, and I didn't talk to them every day. I probably talked to them maybe once a week, because I don't talk to our players every day. I'm not texting them every day. It's not like that. That's not realistic. If coaches are texting players every single day, imagine when they get to campus and you're not texting them. They're gonna think something's really wrong with you, and you've changed. So I try to be very similar to how I am as a coach on a everyday thing.
We're going to take 2 last questions. We've got one right here on the aisle, 3rd row.
Hi, Coach. Gaby Herbstats. This is kind of a wonky coaching question, but I was just wondering if it's harder to scout at this time of the year with such a short time frame, or if it's harder installing new things like on the day of.
It's harder to implement new things. You're going to be who you are. I mean, you could tweak a little bit. Then we talk about tweaking our defense a little bit, yeah. And then why put them in that situation? Like you throw everything out there in your coaches' meetings, and then when it boils down to it, they're gonna do what they've naturally have done all season long. So no need to confuse them on that, and that's what we'll do.
We're going to take our last question right here, 2nd row, sort of in the middle.
Cam Gaskins, ABC Columbia. Dawn, I wanted to go back and ask about Aaliyah. We've talked a lot about on the court, the development and the growth she's put in this season specifically, but from your vantage point, off the court, she's such a quiet and humble kid. I want to ask how you've seen her kind of grow into the national spotlight that's been on her more than it has been in years past, and how she's kind of developed into this top-tier player that has all the eyes on her.
Aaliyah is very aware of who she is. She's very aware of what people say. She doesn't always say it, if she feels like somebody's wronging her. And I don't want her to say it either, because she's got too many people that have her back, where she doesn't have to be the one that says it. So she has a certain maturity level. Like when things were being said to her about National Player of the Year, she would text me, "Hey, you think I should say something?" Like no, don't say anything. We got you. But she's always been that way. Like she's always, thinks first before she goes out and does something. And I think that is parenting. That's a whole lot of parenting. Her dad, her mom. She's a saver too. Like her mom instilled saving, like the cost of attendance checks that they get. She's probably getting a whole lot of NIL deals, and probably 90% of that money is banked. Part of that is being invested. Like she was investing before she was even getting any money. The cost of attendance check, I think our players get maybe $500 and something. Mom takes half of that every check. So that's who she is. She's grounded. She's got a great foundation, great family life, and it certainly have made my life much easier. I don't have to worry about Aaliyah. If I have to worry about something, it's because she's told me something, and she has yet to tell me anything that makes me worrisome. I think she's probably has balanced personal life. I think she's more friendly. I think she's got socially, I think she's balancing, because she's been all about basketball, books and basketball, and really Netflix and taking naps. But I do think she's got a space where she's doing a lot more. And that's where I'm most happy, because life isn't just about that. But it is about prioritizing. Like she prioritized her first 2 years of her college career. Now she's figuring out spaces in which she can be a young person and have fun with it, because it's, life is about balance, and she'll leave here next year, and some franchise is gonna get an incredible person, player that that only wants to win. And when she does it, she usually is the one that's responsible for a lot of that winning.
Coach, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
That concludes today's press conferences. All right, so I have to ask, are you going to have a